Hi everyone, welcome back to yoga. My name is Melanie and today we're going to be learning all about headstand entries and exits and shapes to hold. We're going to be working in tripod headstand today, which is two hands on the ground and just your head making the point of your triangle, why it's called tripod headstand. If you're looking for bound headstand, then that is in your closing sequence video. So we're going to be starting off today by just making sure we're physically prepared to do it. At no point do you need to take your feet off the ground. It's about doing the work. It's not about the end posture, although I would like to make sure you're safe in your end posture if you are ready to try it. So we're going to start off just making sure that our necks feel okay. If you've slept funny last night, maybe today is not the day to start learning headstands. Taking it round the back as and when you are ready. We want to make sure that our shoulders, our traps and our wrists are ready as well. So coming forward into your tabletop position, we're just going to do a little bit of cat-cow. So we inhale, drop the belly, drag the chest. Exhale, round the back, push away. Same thing again, inhale, drop the belly, look forward. Exhale, scoop and push. Inhale, coming back to center. We're going to lift our heels of our hands. So if you've done the crow pose exercises, you know we're only going to do 20 today. We're going to try and only lift the heel of your hand, and you're going to try your best to keep your shoulders forward. So we go 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Shift your shoulders forward. We go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shoulder shrugs. We go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scoot yourself round. We're going to make sure your core is ready to go. So one of the things that you need to be able to do to enter your headstand is get your belly button and pull it back towards your spine. Okay, that's going to change the weight distribution in your favor. So it's really good to be able to do it on its own and to be able to implement it. So what we're going to do is take a really deep breath in. And you'll feel that your belly drops back. Now exhale and let that go. And you feel that your belly comes back to normal. Inhale, I want you to lift everything up into your ribs. Exhale, let it go. Now this time, when you inhale, pull everything up into your ribs. As you exhale, I want you to keep it there. So don't let your belly go back to normal. So inhale. Exhale, keep it all there. Inhale. Exhale, keep it pulled in. And relax. So that's what we want to be working towards whilst we are in our headstand. That sucking of the belly button back towards the spine. Coming all the way back round, let's have a look at our setup for tripod headstand. Hands are shoulder width apart, and as you're coming into it, it's the same shape that you make in your chaturanga. So this angle of the elbow is what's going to be happening whilst you're in your headstand. When I come down into my headstand, I want almost my hairline to touch the floor first, and then as I tuck my toes and lift my hips, it will roll onto the top of my head. If I put the top of my head down to start off with, as I start to lift, you'll see that I'm starting to roll onto the back of my head. And if it wasn't for my bun, I would have done a forward roll, which is not what we want to do in our headstand. So, hands are shoulder width apart, middle fingers face forward. We've got that camber happening that we were working towards in our crow pose. No gaps underneath the palms of the hands, and we grip the floor. From here, we're going to place our hairline down, and you're going to go into it the same way you go into chaturanga. So instead of bending your elbows and putting your head in between your hands, you're going to bend your elbows, bring your chest forward, and then put your hairline down. Now from here, tuck your toes under, keep your elbows tight, and start to walk your feet closer to your hands. If this position does not feel good, stay here. If you feel okay, I want you to double check your elbows are nice and tight. Maybe have a little play with rocking. We rock through the feet, and that keeps us moving, and we push through the hands. At no point do we let our shoulders catch up with our ears. This puts too much weight in your head. So we're going to push down, shoulders back, then round the chest. And then when you're ready, let that go. This might be the time that you realise whatever you've put down isn't enough cushioning, and you want a little bit more support, or it could be that you've piled things up and it's giving you too much instability. So just be kind to yourself and be aware that the softer it is, the more instability you're going to get, but obviously you don't want to be doing it on a super hard floor because that's going to hurt. Also take into account everyone's head shape is slightly different, so be kind to yourself. The next thing we're going to be learning is about the squeeze. So we never ever want to kick into a headstand because it is a balance. You want to have control of it from the earliest possibility as you can. And with kicking into it, you're kicking and hoping that something is going to catch, that balance is going to happen, and that you're going to get some airtime in there. And that's not what we want. Balances are about confidence. So you want to be able to go into it confidently knowing that you are going to be able to hold it. So we're going to set ourselves up just like we did. We tuck the toes, we keep the elbows tight, we walk the feet a little bit closer to the face. You're going to pick one leg and you're going to squeeze your heel to your butt, and then you're going to put it down and do the same thing on the other side. If you found that your bottom is down here, we're not doing the work. Push through the hands and then change. Another really good way of getting some feedback about that squeeze is to use maybe a stretching block, or you could use a towel. I'm going to use a towel today so I can show you without dropping my brick a lot. So I'm going to put a towel behind my knee, and that's just going to give me some feedback. Okay, so I know right now I've got my whole body weight sat down on it, so it feels quite intense. I'm going to try and maintain that squeeze, and what it's going to do is change the weight when I'm upside down further closer to my hips. My centre of gravity is going to be over there instead of back here. So I put my hands down, put my hairline down, and then I start to lift my butt. I'm going to keep this squeeze going, okay? If I am not squeezing, I can feel it because there's nothing going on behind my knee. I want to keep squeezing in. This is obviously going to be a lot more sensory feedback if you do it with a block or a book or anything like that. If you're feeling brave and your phone's got a good case, maybe try it with your phone, because you're definitely not going to want to drop that. Same thing on the side. We put whatever we're using behind the knee, hands are shoulder width apart. We come forward to come down, hairline goes in. I'm going to keep this leg squeezing and just push up on one side. Maybe I come straight back down. Maybe I bring myself in a little bit. Again, have your elbows flared, tuck them in, and then come down. So the next variation that we're going to do is going to change legs. So I'm going to squeeze in, come down, come down. There might be a moment here where you feel, that's the only way I can describe that feeling. That's what it feels like, okay? So, hands are shoulder width, we come forward into it, head goes down, tuck the toes, bring yourself in. Pick your favourite leg, squeeze your heel to your butt. Now move your shoulders away from your ears, push down through the floor, squeeze, swap legs, and come down. Yes, we are going to have a play with that a couple more times. So you might find that you do have a favourite leg. That's absolutely fine. As long as we eventually start practicing it on both sides, you'll be forgiven. All right, team, so we're going to do a couple more in your own time, unless you want to come with me, in which case squeeze heel to butt, push through your hands, push through your shoulders, change legs, come down. Maybe we don't come all the way down. Maybe we change legs, squeeze heel to butt, push, squeeze, come down, come down. So you might find that that's where you leave it for today. Other options of entries, we have got just lifting one leg at a time. Now, I don't tend to teach this one first, purely because this is the one that makes you want to kick, okay? So, we don't want to kick. We're going to bring our forehead down, and the entry is the same. Tuck the toes, hover the knees, walk your feet closer to your face. Pick one leg, and then gradually lift that leg up. Now, from here, you're going to push through your hands, push through your toe, and just have a little bit of a rock. Now, if this shape makes you want to hop, then this isn't the entry for you. Okay, if it's making you want to hop, or it's making you want to kick, that isn't the entry for you, because that's going to make you too tempted, and you're going to end up forward rolling into your couch, and that is not what we want today. Okay, exactly the same exercise on the other leg. We're coming down, we push it up, we take the leg, we open up. That is your exercise. You will notice at no point have I taken both legs to the ceiling. So that's because we're going to take a little break from going upside down. We're going to have a look at shaping, okay? So shaping is a really popular way of practicing your moves, especially in gymnastics, without the added stress of the inversion of going upside down. So what we're going to do is go back to our lying down shape. We're going to go onto our back, and for the sake of today, I want you to interlace your fingers and put them behind your head as if we are sunbathing. Now from here, you're going to point your toes as much as you can, or flex your feet as much as you can, all right? So it's completely up to you how you do it. So you might flex, 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 or you might point. You're going to pull your kneecaps up, pull your quads up. Then from there, squeeze your bottom and tuck your pelvis under. It's going to totally change the shape of your body. What this does is open your hip flexors. If your hip flexors feel tight, we've got a video for you. Then from there, suck your belly button in, exactly the same way we practiced earlier. So I want you to imagine someone's got hold of your ankles and they're pulling your legs away from you. Squeeze your bottom, squeeze your thighs, suck your belly in. No daylight underneath your back. So if your back is like this is not because you are blessed with a big butt. Suck your belly in and tuck your pelvis under. Yeah? Squeeze. So you can see from doing this exercise that that is quite a lot of work on its own. So once you've got yourself upside down, there's still work to be done once you get there. We're going to move on to entering in a pike. Okay, so if you're somebody that does a lot of core work, this might be for you, but you do need a degree of hamstring flexibility. If you can't do a V-sit, the chances are this is not the entry for you. So if you're somebody that wants to know what a V-sit is, your options are to go from dish and have a little crunch to start off with. Then we can go from a full dish and we do a full V-sit, okay? If that is not within your remit just yet, this entry is not there for you just yet. Doesn't mean to say you'll never be able to do it. So, the pike entry, exactly the same. With all the entries, what we're trying to do is make our lives easier by getting our hips over our head and shoulders before we're trying to lift off the ground. If you're trying to lift off the ground from back here, it's going to be a lot more difficult because your head's the heaviest part of your body. shortly followed by your hips. So if your hips are not over there to start off with, you're making things really difficult for yourself. So from here we enter it the same way we go into a chaturanga. Hairline goes down, tuck the toes, lift the knees, walk yourself forward. Now from here you're going to make sure your elbows do not flare. Push your shoulders away from your ears. Do that cheeky little belly button to spine and then push. At the earliest opportunity, you squeeze your bottom and open your hips. Keep making sure the ankles are pulling away from the head and the hands are taking a fair amount of weight. Suck the belly and squeeze the butt. Then from there, on our way down, we pike and we go all the way down. Whew. So that is your pike entry. Again, it is a lift and not a kick. The entry that we use in rocket yoga depends on which move comes before it. But in the sequence, the tripod headstand comes after a bunch of forward folds. So it comes after a bunch of wide leg forward folds. So if you take yourself into your wide leg stance, your hands, if your hands are out, your feet are about the same distance as your wrists. So it's about this wide, okay? Hands come onto your waist, and then we start to fold down. The forward folds are all the same in terms of we do a forward fold, then we do a half fold, just like we do with the feet together. And then there are different variations of this in the sequence. So one variation is to hold on to your big toes. So as you inhale, you lift. And then as you exhale, you bend your elbows and pull down. Now, the further back your weight is, the further away from the floor your head's going to be. So you have to make sure that you have control over the length of your hamstrings. The second variation that we're going to look at is doing completely behind your back. So we stretch, stretch, stretch from here, we inhale, and then we exhale and we fold. Once we get to the length of that fold, you're going to start to take your hands over. And then coming up, half fold. Now this is where it gets fun. So you're going to try and wiggle your ribs in between your thighs. So you can bend to do this to start off with, to here. And then you're going to take your hands further back than your feet. Just on the angle so you can see. So I'm going to take my hands further back than my feet. And they are going to be in that chaturanga shape. Okay. Then from there, I just want to practice feeling safe in this shape. We're going to try and get back to this shape with straight legs eventually with the weight forward. So a half fold and then a full fold, and I'm going to try to get my head down. Then from there, half fold. Okay. So what's going to happen eventually is this is your preparation for straddling up to headstand. We're going to learn it from kneeling down and then maybe have a look at it from standing. So we've been upside down a lot, guys. If you're starting to see stars, give yourself a little break. Be aware, having a drink in between inversions is not advised. Okay, so when we go into a press, a straddle press, what happens is the setup is the same. And when we get to here, what we're going to do is we're going to take the legs out to the side. So that's our first move. Can you get from here, pike, out to straddle and back again without falling over, without jumping? If you can do, then you might be well on your way. So we always want to make sure the hips are stacking over the shoulders. We take it out. And then all we're doing is lifting the legs out to the side. We suck the belly in. Maybe we stay in that straddle shape. Maybe we take the legs high, squeeze the butt, suck the belly in. To come down, we come through the shape that we made to come all the way back down again. So that's from kneeling. in the sequence, it goes from standing. So it goes from that wide leg forward fold, and I'm pretty sure you can see where it's going to come in. Now the length of your legs and the length of your torso will have a direct effect on how you're able to do this. So it might be that it's not an exact science that my feet are directly under my wrists, depending on how long my torso and my legs are, depending on how flexible my hamstrings are. So I might need to go a little bit wider. I'm going to take my hands to my hips, inhale, exhale, full fold. I'm going to use my toe hold, inhale, flat back. And then I'm going to exhale and take those hands down. From here, I might be able to put the tip of my head down, and then I'm going to push through my hands, shift the weight, and extend the legs. I might be able to hold here or take it all the way up, and then bringing it all the way down. So, the entries that we've done to headstand today are the basic setup of the tripod. We went into tuck and held in tuck with alternate legs. We did one leg lifted in an L shape and then played with distributing the weight. We went over a pike lift, and we also went over a kneeling straddle entry, and we went over how eventually we're going to be putting it in the rocket yoga sequence. If you've got any questions, let me know.